This is so sweet, it makes your teeth rot.
Any particular vendor you recommend for this plastic tub or vendor?
Suppliers for different plastic ingredients, you just shop around. This one is made, there's Plastican, Plastican, in Leominster, Massachusetts. I think they pronounce it up there Leominster, but it's spelled Leominster. And this one is, oh, this is a big company. This is called Ropak, R-O-P-A-K. And that's for 2.5 and 3 gallon tubs of these. These I don't buy anymore. They're just, this is directly related to the price of oil, and it's just too horribly expensive. I paid $700 for 2 cases of these and 1 case of lids. I couldn't believe it when the bill came in. What do you use?
Cambro. Cambro.
And what is Cambro?
Cambro is these, except they're a little pliable. They're not clear plastic. Actually, these may be Cambro.
Okay.
And I use 1 gallon sizes.
Okay.
C-A-M-B-R-O?
C-A-M-B-R-O. And you know that, you know where you should buy a lot of the stuff? At Restaurant Depot.
Yeah, definitely.
They give you a free membership, and it's as wholesale as can be. And I buy everything there. What? I can't hear him. Gordon Food? I don't know who that is.
See, most people are suppliers of bigger companies. Whoa.
What?
That was the one you slid open.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
dumped out?
Yeah,
that's why I asked you what you put them in.
Oh,
I didn't put it in
I didn't
something.
realize you meant that.
You kept saying the refrigerator.
Yeah, okay. You know, if we keep this up for a few years, we'll get it right. Okay, so we have a little time left. We'll make the mango Italian ice. Again, Italian ices 15, 20 years ago was lemon, cherry, grape, orange, chocolate. And then it expanded out to where I used to bring this home to my children, and they would have rather eaten the frozen broccoli frozen in the freezer before they would try mango Italian ice. But because it sounded too exotic from what they were used to. But once you try this, you realize, oh, this is just a great, great flavor. So that's a real popular one. I'll have to measure that out and see how much is in that container, unless we have another one here. There's pina colada. Well, I'll measure this out. So this is just going to be, again, sugar, water, and the flavor. Oh, that's what I was looking for, was the name of this person I want you to talk to at iRice. His name is Rod, R-O-D, and last name is Oringer, O-R-I-N-G-E-R. Rod's a very knowledgeable guy. He's been in the business for a long time. His family started Oringer Flavors. I'll show it to you. Oringer Flavors out of Boston, and they a few years ago sold the business to Concord Foods, and now Rod works for iRice Company. President over there is Steve Cool, and Steve got himself a great catch with Rod Oringer because he knows this business so well. Okay, we have, good, exactly 2 quarts. So let me look at the recipe. They have a recipe on here. This would be for 4 quarts of product. So I have 2 quarts. So I'm going to cut the sugar in half. I need 1.5 pounds of sugar. And I'll get that.
Just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we're busy. All right.
Always close this.
1.8.
I always put a cup under there. He doesn't, but he never forgets.
I never spill. The reason I don't spill is because I only have one working eye, so I know that I can't afford to spill. I'm also a dead shot with a gun. Oh man, am I good. Because most people have to focus two eyes and they end up closing one eye, which then, you know, close one eye and your sight goes off like that. But when you're only seeing through one eye, you see absolutely perfect. Right, Ken? Ken and I go shooting, and Ken taught me how to shoot. I'm from New York. We didn't have guns, or at least not legally. And so I'm getting out there shooting, and he goes, and I've just finished shooting a bunch, and I go, I don't know, Ken, I just keep missing that one target. And Ken goes, would you please take that barrel away from your head? Okay, so we got the sugar and the flavor and the water. This would be, for a 20-quart mix, that would be 16. I need 8 quarts of water, which I won't get in there. So I'll put 4 in.
Good.
Thanks.
When you make your ice cream, do you immediately put it into the blast freezer for a while, and then you transfer it to the regular?
Uh-oh.
Do you use a blast freezer?
I don't have a blast freezer. No.
Don't have a blast freezer.
And if you don't have a blast freezer, it makes you sell your ice cream really fast. So I do that. What I do is, though, I rotate, and when I make product, it goes on the bottom of the freezer, so it's colder there.
I need 4 more quarts. Please.
All right.
Yes.
That's what I freeze in 1 gallon. These things. Oh, it's Cambro. No, the freezer. The freezers are whatever I can get. I'm sorry, Neil, but whatever I can get, I use. I just bought a couple of Sears uprights, Kenmore uprights.
And you cover the tubs. You don't have to modify it at all.
For ices or ice cream?
No, they have snap-on lids. They all have snap-on lids. The lids are as expensive as the container. You need 4 quarts, you said, right?
Yeah. I'll show you something that I found that I really like. If you have a push cart and you're selling Italian ice, you're having to keep the push cart cold somehow. Nelson makes some great push carts. You can either use dry ice, or they have a double-walled cart, and you plug it in overnight. Here's another alternative. This is made by Carlisle, which is a big restaurant supply company. And this is just like, you know, a blue ice that you put into a lunch pail? This is just like a giant blue ice. It's an inner and outer wall. It comes in either white or black. And the inner walls here are filled with a gel that freezes. So you take this and you put it in your freezer overnight, and then you can take your tub of Italian ice and just drop it right in and put that into your cart, or you could put it out if you were doing a buffet. You could put it out in a serving like this, and this holds it for hours. We did a few tests here and made Italian ices and ice cream and put them out at the front entrance and let everybody help themselves, and it was good for, you know, 4 or 5 hours of scoopable product just with these. These are about, they sell them, I think, about $70 each. So if you had, the company is called Carlisle. And what was that, the web store you said? The web restaurant store?
Restaurant Depot.
The web restaurant Depot sells these. Carlisle is a funny spelling. It's like the city in Pennsylvania.
What would you call that product?
Carlisle is the company. That's a freezer. I don't know what they call it, but it's a freezer tub for ices and ice cream.
online company?
No, Restaurant Depot, they're in Orlando, Ocala, they're in most major cities. And they require a membership. You have to show them it's easy to get though.
There's also a website, the web restaurant store, I think it is. Now, am I right here?
You're okay.
I want to make sure I don't have too much water.
Well, you asked for 4 more quarts.
Yeah. Well, I put 4 in here.
Right.
8 quarts of water, 16 quarts cut in half, 8. 2 quarts of flavor. That's right. So
It sounds like another experiment.
Okay, I've got 10 quarts of product. That's right. You could, but I don't find this to be a problem. I mean, the opening's that big.
It's the biggest opening in the industry.
That's right. All the other machines are just so little that you can't do anything. I mean, they narrow down to like that.
And they do that for a reason, because they don't want you to put stuff in there.
Yeah, they don't want you to put any ingredients in, so they make it near impossible, rather than you damaging the cylinder and then they've got to try to void your warranty, which doesn't look good. So that's running. Let me find a timer. That ones are tired. How'd we end up in Florida? We had a union shop, been union all my life. My father was forced to go union after World War II. Again, we're in business 107 years. And the union contracts were just getting really prohibitive. We couldn't do any outsourcing. If I wanted to have just the shipping crates made somewhere else, I would have to shut down my wood shop. But since the wood shop came before the sheet metal department, I'd have to fire everybody in the sheet metal department in order to fire the wood shop department. So you can't do that, so I couldn't farm anything out. Employment goes both ways. This is a right-to-work state, which means we don't have to have unions. And employment is both ways. You want to work for me, I want you to, and I want you to work for me. And with a union, you're hit or missing whether or not the person's going to be any good. You know, anybody can shine for 30 days, and then you find out they don't show up for work. My biggest problem was 1/3 of my workforce never showed up for work on any given day. And if everybody was doing the same job, I could deal with that. But when you've got sheet metal, refrigeration, woodworking, copper tubing, bending, all these different divisions under one roof, if one from each department doesn't show up, you're absolutely shut down. There's no sense anybody else being there. Then there was the $75,000 in taxes for a building that was in a murder-a-week neighborhood. There was $100,000 to heat the old building because it was 40,000 square feet. My drive to work was 8 miles. It took 45 minutes every day, both ways, to go 8 miles. So the word got out on the street that George Steinbrenner was going to build a new Yankee Stadium. You know, we knew it months before anybody else knew. That's the way the street works. And so I called up the Steinbrenner organization and I said, I've got a 3-story building. It's got its own parking garage, and it's a half a block from the subway stop, and just a few blocks up from Yankee Stadium. It would make a perfect parking garage. So they came and looked at it and said, perfect. And so we sold it and we got out of town. And it's interesting because I think the most interesting part of the story is my accountant said you can't move a 100-year-old building. You can't move the business. It isn't going to work. You'll never get restarted here. We actually leased a building up the street. We built this in 6 months, which was unheard of. Everybody else took 2 years. And we only missed 2 days of work. We ran dual phone lines, dual supplies for parts, so that while we were shutting down New York, things were shipping out of here. But still, Paula and I and Sadie crossed the George Washington Bridge. We're all born and bred New Yorkers, and it's really scary. And I said to Paula, you know, if we can't get the factory back up and running, and this is the absolute truth, if we can't get the factory back up and running, we'll take one of our own machines, go into the Italian ice business, and make a fortune. And I knew you can open anywhere in the United States of America and make a fortune selling sugar water. Just pick a location you want to work, be prepared to work 10-hour days, and take the entire month of January off in the Caribbean. And you'll have a nice life. And I really believe it. I tell people, it won't get you a membership in the Charlotte Country Club, but it'll make you enough money to buy the whole place. You know, so it's not a bad life selling sugar water. And it's a trade that you can take anywhere. And I'm not the type, it doesn't run in my family, ever to retire. But, so it's a moot point. But if I ever did, and excuse me? How did I pick this place? I picked this place, my then vice president picked it, because he was very adept at hiding from people in New York and finding remote locations for security purposes. And he brought me down here. I went to school in Winter Park, which is right next to Orlando. I went to college there. And so I knew Florida, and I love Florida. I spent every waking minute not in the Bronx trying to get back to Florida. And the thing about this location, it turns out this exact same story is the history of Sam Walton from Walmart, as a person here in Brooksville told me. I wanted to open it up where I vacation, down by Fort Myers, Captiva, Sanibel. Plenty of land, plenty of people, everything looked good, except we have two highways just over here. We have Florida's Turnpike and Interstate 75. All commercial traffic comes down 75 from Atlanta. It hits that crossroad just at Brooksville, and all the commercial goes down Florida's Turnpike down to Palm Beach, Lauderdale, Miami. All your trucks go that way. Everybody else going down 75 is going to all the golf spots, the vacation spots, no trucks. So for me to open up in Fort Myers, I wasn't going to be able to, I could get trucks in, but it was going to cost me about 5 times as much to bring in my raw materials and to ship my materials out. Well, Sam Walton and I saw the exact same thing, only he did it years ahead of me. He built his largest distribution facility in Brooksville for this region of the South, because where these two crossroads are is the perfect place to be, because you can get all the tourist traffic of people and you can get all the commercial, my motors, compressors, everything else that I need. So it really is ideal. The downside is dining around here consists of Arby's and Burger King. So we go down to Tampa or wherever else we can go to get a good meal once in a while. But it really is in the boonies. When Paul and I built a house only 4 miles from here, and again, I'm from the Bronx. I'm used to rough neighborhoods, but not like this. I came down my street, I turned into my street, and there are these 4 huge, they look like Hummers with hooves, you know, standing in the middle of the street, blocking the way. So being from New York, I did what any good New Yorker would do. I called the cops. Got on the phone, called 911, I said, there's these huge monsters blocking my driveway. They said, can you describe them? And I did. The guy starts laughing at me. He said, those are cows. And I said, yeah, okay, so now you've identified them. What are you going to do about it? He said, what do you expect? I said, send 2 squad cars. They look dangerous. Move them. They're still laughing at me. You know, I go into town, they go, hey, aren't you the guy who called the cops about the cows? You know, they're everywhere. They're roaming all around. There's horses. Sadie was chasing turkeys last night in the backyard. It's quite a switch from New York. But we still get the New York Post delivered every day so that we can, you know, keep our sharp edge. Paula has to go up to New York every 4 months for a week because she starts getting too friendly. You know, she says good morning to customers and how are you today, instead of what do you want, and you know, welcome to New York, now get out. So we send her back for retraining. But no, we like it here. But it certainly lowered my cost of goods for building the machines, because I won't lower the quality. I only make changes to improve the machine. I'm going to take this up in speed. I didn't see that. Since there's really no air in Italian ices, or very little, it doesn't matter what speed you run at. But at a higher speed, the product will freeze faster. So you run Italian ice at full speed. Yes?
If you don't have the, what do you call it, that you change the speed of the engine, the motor?
Yeah.
If you don't have that on your Emery Thompson machine, can we still make ices?
Oh, absolutely. You can. This machine will do everything, or the one-speed machine will do everything this does, except for the very low ice creams, the gelatos and Haagen-Dazs type products. That's what this will do. In addition to everything else, the standard machines are doing super premium hard ice cream, Italian ices, frozen lemonade, the gelato if we are the not the gelato, the frozen yogurt if we ever get the formula right.
What's the difference between lemon ice and frozen lemonade?
Italian ice and frozen lemonade, in my doing it, are the exact same formula. The difference is I pull the product out a couple of minutes early, more slushy for frozen lemonade than I do Italian ice. Up in Rhode Island, where frozen lemonade is king and where it originated, they really make an awful product. It's a pound of sugar to a gallon of water, which is very low on the sugar. So sugar also enhances flavor. So their frozen lemonade is very bland compared to what I make. They love it, and who's going to knock success? There's a place up there called Dell's Lemonade who uses our machines, and they make a very successful product. So it doesn't make them wrong and me right. It means that we both make a different product. I sell this product at Universal